在那里面。哎，你的眼睛贵。那地板上哭啊！这样，重置。
I didn't expect his last baby tooth to make me emotional. One small moment, and suddenly, another piece of childhood was gone. I'm Len, and this is my 12-year-old son. Today is Saturday, and we have an appointment with the dentist to pull out his very last baby tooth. Since this big baby tooth just won't fall out, it has already affected the development of the permanent tooth underneath. Right now, my son is incredibly anxious. He is terrified of getting his tooth pulled, even though he has already done it 6 times before. I'm just fixing my hair, and we're about to head out. My son is still fantasizing that the dentist might suddenly tell him he doesn't need to get his tooth pulled today, just to give him a pleasant surprise. I immediately shattered his illusion and told him that the dental assistant had already reminded me not to forget the appointment time, and even told us to leave early. Before heading out, we need to put the harness on our pup. This is one part he absolutely refuses to cooperate with. Usually, he'll just wiggle and squirm around to reject it. So the two of us have to work together to quickly get it on him. But this time, he was actually pretty good, and everything went smoothly. I called out our pup's name. Lucky, come here. We're heading out. Let me hug you. As soon as he heard we were going out, he came rushing over, incredibly excited. He can understand and knows that we're taking him along this time. He is such a clever little guy. The temperature has gone up a lot today, so it's a bit hot. We're going to a commercial dental clinic chain, which is really close to our house, only about a 10-minute drive. While driving, I kept making jokes to try and distract my son. With Lucky in his arms, he seemed to briefly forget the pressure of the upcoming tooth extraction. We arrived at the dental clinic in no time. I got super lucky today. There was a parking spot right by the side of the road, so I didn't have to go around searching for one. After parking the car, I took our pup and held him in my arms. My son is very familiar with the dentist at this clinic, because for the past 5 years, any dental issues he's had has been handled right here. Since I made an appointment with the dentist beforehand on my phone, we don't need to check in at the first floor reception. We can just head straight up to the Pediatrics dental waiting area on the 2nd floor and wait for the doctor. I reminded my son to maybe go brush his teeth first, so he wouldn't need to do it right before the extraction. But he was completely glued to the cartoons and told me he had already brushed them at home before we left. After waiting for a few minutes, the nurse came over to apply topical numbing gel inside my son's mouth. I smilingly described to her how anxious he had been at home about getting his tooth pulled, and she couldn't help but laugh. She knows my son very well and always teases him a bit whenever he comes for a visit. While waiting for the numbing gel to take effect, the receptionist was drawn to our pup and crouched down to give this cuddle-seeking dog some love, which made him incredibly happy. The cleaning lady nearby couldn't resist pulling out her phone either, sharing pictures of the two little dogs her daughter raised. They were so well behaved and adorable. My son was called into the treatment room by the nurse. Sitting out there made me feel a bit anxious. So I got up to stand by the doorway, keeping an eye on him. I whispered to the nurse, "Is it ready to be pulled?" The nurse replied, "Not yet. We're still injecting the local anesthetic." Honestly, I've lost count of how many times I've accompanied my son here to get his teeth pulled, but I still get worried every single time. Especially this time, since it's his largest baby tooth being extracted, and I know the wound left behind is going to be quite big. Right before the extraction, I couldn't help but walk back in to double-check the exact position of the tooth with the dentist. I just didn't want anything to go wrong with this extraction. Of course, the actual extraction took only a single second. Before I could even realize what happened, the dentist said it was already done. My son walked over to me, looking totally relieved, and said, "I didn't feel a thing. I just heard a sound, and it was out." As I happily responded to him, even the dentist couldn't help but laugh. Looking at his freshly extracted big tooth, my son marveled at how huge it was. The nurse packed it up and reminded me to soak it in saline water at home before saving it. Holding the cotton ball in his mouth, my son told me the wound was already feeling a bit swollen. We just need to wait in the lounge for a 30-minute observation, and if everything is fine, we can head home. My son was examining this big extracted tooth closely and noticed there was actually a cavity on the side of it. He even brought it back over to show it off to the dentist. Our 30-minute observation is up, and we're ready to head home. By now, the numbing agent is wearing off, and my son can feel the extraction site getting more and more swollen and painful. He's starting to show a bit of distress on his face. He was even whining it hurts with every step he took. But the pain didn't stop him for a second from using his smartwatch to hit up his playmate right away, announcing that he was on his way back to the neighborhood. Seeing that he's still in the mood to make plans with his friends, I instantly felt completely relieved. All right, let's head straight home first. Once we got back to the neighborhood and parked the car, my son's playmate was already downstairs waiting for him. As soon as they met up, the two of them dashed straight upstairs. The two of them were completely in sync. Without saying a single word, they slipped into his bedroom and started playing on the tablet. Oh well, if it helps distract him from the toothache, I guess I'll let him play for a bit. Now, I'm getting ready to make my son a bowl of refreshing mung bean porridge to help soothe the inflammation. The dentist specially reminded us that he can only have liquid foods for the rest of the day. I popped open an unopened can of honeysuckle and mung bean porridge. Whenever summer is just around the corner, we love to make some mung bean porridge and chill it in the fridge as our favorite way to beat the heat. Aside from the mung beans, this actually has nuts, dried rose petals, and honeysuckle inside. No wonder it tastes so good. After washing everything thoroughly, just add purified water, put it into the cooker, and press the porridge button. It's as simple as that. Half an hour later, the mung bean porridge is ready. I'm ladling it into a bowl to let it cool down first. Of course, if you have a sweet tooth, you can always stir in a little sugar at this point. I changed the cotton ball for him, and finally, he stopped complaining about the pain. Then it suddenly hit me. This was his last baby tooth. 12 years passed so quietly. As children grow up, our time with them slowly becomes less and less. One day, they still reach for your hand. And before you realize it, they're already becoming more independent. Maybe that's why ordinary moments end up meaning the most. What moment made you realize your child was growing up